I think this is like the perfect flatbread. You can screw it up, you can put anything in there. That is fantastic. That is a super duper Havercake right there. Hi everyone, welcome to Backyard Chef. I'm Rick. Today that's gonna get a proper history lesson on a proper recipe, old school from a long time ago, and it's vanishing. It's vanishing, so we're gonna make it. We're making Yorkshire Havercakes. Now, Havercakes came from the Old Norse word havre or hafre, which was oats. So simply oat cake. Now, this is one of the oldest and most iconic flatbreads in the north of England. Okay, there's variations, went down. Scots got the oat cake, Staffordshire got oat cakes, all the rest of it. But you know, the Havercake came from Yorkshire, and how it evolved, the soil was so acidic over the Pennines, over the Pennine uplands, that they couldn't grow anything else but oats. So it was the only cereal they could grow. Now then, a little bit of history, how it was cooked before we actually put it together. I know it's a bit of a spiel, and I will stick it in the description. Olden days, and we're talking old, we're going back a long way. They used to have the old griddle stone on the fireplace, and over the top they used to have a creel. We all know what an old-fashioned creel is. All the old wooden slats over the hearth. Now basically what they would do, they would mix up the batter. Will this stay on here? It will. They would mix up the batter and they would throw it over the hearthstone, the griddle stone, and basically it started to cook. It set on one side. They would take a big knife and they would flip it over. Now they'd flip it over and cook a little bit on that side, and it would be pliable, you know. So basically you've got your Havercake on there like that, and it would be pliable. And then what they did in the olden days, they took the cake and they hung it over the creel to dry. Once dried, shelf stable for months. So, you know, this thing is shelf stable, but you know, it's like eating the bottom of a flip-flop. It's gone fairly hard. But you know, they used to make sandwiches with it before sandwiches were commercialized. There's writings about a slab of stew. It's called hard and stew. But basically, it's a slab of stew in between two layers of Havercake, long before commercial sandwiches arrived. Eaten with cheese, warm off the grill, eaten with all sorts of stuff, honey, whatever, you know. There you go, brief history to a Havercake. Right, let's get on and make it. Right, in here I've got some rolled oats, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to blend them. We want some oatmeal. So we're going to give these a little bit of a blend with a bit of texture. Now if you can get fine oatmeal, that's fine, you know, just do it with fine oatmeal. Even porridge oats, you know. But we're just going to do it this way. It's sort of like semi-traditional really, you know. They would actually smack all this up, grind it up in a stone, whatever. We're going to do it this way. Now I don't want too much flour. I actually want some texture in there. So we got this going on. Beautiful. Let's do the rest of this. We are chucking it all over the table. Here we go. Yeah, this is brock. We can't do nothing about it. There you go. On here. Done. A bit more texture. So we got a few oats in there, look. Right, can they see that? We got texture in there, we got a few oats. There you go. We got a bowl in there. Now, we are using flour. We're going to bring it together like a bit of a cakey thing, if you like. In there, plain all-purpose flour. Give it one of those. Let's have that in there. We're going to go in with some salt. This is just going to taste of oats. A bit of salt to ignite our taste buds. Yeast. Get that mixed in. Water and milk. Grab yourself something to mix it in with and mix it up. Olden days, they would leave this overnight and it would get like a sour taste in there as it starts to ferment. We ain't doing that. We're going to leave it for about an hour and then we're going to crack on. We're going to cover it. We're going to let it sort of like the yeast take over and start bubbling, fermenting in there. That oats in there is going to soak up some of that water, so it's not going to be as runny as this. It's going to be easy and pourable. There you go. And we'll shove that in there. Done. We'll leave it for about an hour. There you go. Okay, let's be having a look in here. Oh, there you go. Look at that. And it's pourable. Maybe it's a little bit thick. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do that. We're going to put a little bit of water in there. It has to be pourable. That's pourable. Look at that. Fabulous. That's what we're using. Now then, we are doing it the modern way because I don't have a griddle, obviously. Okay, I've got this camping stove and this pan. We're going to put a little bit of butter in here. Now you could use lard, butter, dripping, oil, anything of choice. We just want a little bit of something in there to make it don't stick. So we're just going to rub that round there. An oat cake or a Havercake was thin, very thin. Now I'm going to warm this a little. Nice and steady. So basically what they would do, they would throw it down, as they call it. But you know, we got a pan. Now what we need to do is get this thin. So I'm going to do it like a pancake actually. We're going to do that. I want to do that. And we want it thinned out. Now I don't think this is thin enough. This is going to make a big stodgy oat cake. So we're going to put some more water in there. Because traditionally it weren't as thick as that. So we're going in there with some water. Now we got a right runny mix there. Got to be better than that. In fact, we're going to have a heck of a job to set that up, I reckon. We'll see. So, lesson learned. Thin it. Thin it out and then it'll spread all over there. That is going to be a right thick, stodgy oat cake. Fabulous. Slap some butter on, some honey, anything, it'll be absolutely fine. However, it's not traditional. Pan low and slow. You know, we need it to come through, especially for this thick thing. The thinner ones might be a bit easier. So we've gone too thick there. We learnt our lesson. We thinned it. Maybe this could go a bit thinner, but we'll see. Let's have a look at that one. Oh, that's a right piece of stuff there. Look, it's set up there. We're going to cook it on the other side. I'm going to flip it back again and get a little bit of colour on this side. That's a fantastic oat cake right there, but it's too thick. It's not what we're wanting. I think we want to be flipping this back for some colour. We're going to eat it even though it's too big, you know, it's too thick. I mean, it's a fantastic oat cake. Think we can be turning that? Oh, we're getting a bit of colour on there, look, that's what we're after. And we want a bit of colour on this other side. And then we're going to throw it out and get on with some more. Well, we're not going to throw it out, we're going to eat it. Right, I think we'll have that out of there, on there. I think we'll crack on and get some done. Right, a thinner one. Slap it in, come on. There we go. I think that's a bit better. Oh, this pan. Thinking that's looking a bit special. Look at that thing. Super duper. We made pikelets the other day on the channel, you know, and we've made crumpets and just look at that thing. It looks like a pikelet or a crumpet. Are these the forerunners to the pikelets or crumpets? The forerunners to the pancake? I mean, come on, look at that. It's got the holes in there from the yeast popping. That looks sensational. It's turning matte all the way through. We'll flip that in a second. And you know, that should flip like a pancake actually. We should be able to just chuck it over. Will it flip like a pancake? It will. Whoa, now we're cooking. Look at that. That is sensational. That's a proper Havercake right there. Maybe it's a bit too thick actually, but again, too thick. I think we can water that. In fact, we're going to do it. I'm going to chuck some more water in there. Let's try it, eh? Don't matter if it don't work, there's a good one. Oh, that's a watery mix. Look at that. That'll do. What we got going on? Come on, let's have a look. Oh, not enough colour, turn it back. The original flatbread from all those years ago. Come on. Come on, let's have that out of there. A little bit more butter on there. Not that it makes much difference, to be honest. Come on, it's exciting. We've got this watery mix here. Let's get it in here. Boom. Let's twiddle it about and set it up. Oh, look at that. The original flatbread right there. Just leave it, let it set. Let's see those bubbles popping. Oh! I think this is like the perfect flatbread. Okay? You can screw it up, you can put anything in there. That is fantastic. That is a super duper Havercake right there. I think the thinner the mix you go, I think you have to cook it low and slow to set it. I think if it's not cooked low and slow to set, I think it will break up. See, the art of this is actually leaving it to set and not messing about with it. If you mess about with it, it's gonna just break up. It's so thin. And I can see it all splitting with the bubbles, look. Right, it's released from the pan. So that means it's starting to cook on that other side. It's just a case of feel, watch, learn. This is quite sticky on the top, so when we flip it, obviously it'll dry out and cook. Come on, let's flip it. Oh, we did. There you go. That's a thin one. Me, I like it a little bit thicker. This is a nice flatbread. That's a bit too thin for me. Well, what do you reckon then? Do you like the thinner one or do you like the thicker one? Up to you. I would imagine that they'd have been as thin as this in the olden days. You know, to dry them out over that creel, they've got to be like this. Okay, I think this would dry, but you know, I think this is my modern day equivalent. That looks like a flatbread. Put anything in there, roll it up and nosh on there. Super duper. Good for you as well, it's oats. Come on, let's have a look on that other side. Oh, we got a bit of colour there, look. Has it set? It has, it's set quite nicely actually. So, Yeah, that's all right. Come on, let's get it out. Come on, flip over. Oh, that's looking good there. That's on there. This is that thicker one. This is what I like as a flatbread. You know, you could wrap anything in here. You could put cheese in here, ham, dip it in your dripping, anything. This is a fantastic flatbread. Look, it's supple. You can do anything with it. Okay, I like that one. This one is an awful lot thinner and crispier. And I would imagine that if this was dried out on that creel, you know, this would be very close to the original flatbread. Very close indeed. That is superb. Now, taste test, come on. In here. Now, I'm not going to put cheese and things in. I'm not going to put butter on. We're just going to stuff our mush. Here you go. Mmm. Delicious. Absolutely delicious. Okay, we got flour in here as well, and you can use gluten-free flour, not a problem. Right, the other one. It's going to taste exactly the same, but be thinner. Oh, it's a bit chewier actually, I reckon, because it's thinner. Look at that. Look at the spring in there. Oh, aye. Oh, aye. That thin one. If they can master the art of that thin one, that is absolutely superb. Oh, by far, that is the best one. That is absolutely superb. Look at that. A little bit of a spring in there, look. Whereas if you pull this one, okay, it's got the spring in, but it feels like it wants to tear because it's so thick. Well, there you go. Old-fashioned havercakes. You know a little bit about the history, and there's history in the description. Go read it. Original flatbreads. Original flatbreads. Dating way back when. You know. The only thing is they used to dry them out. Whereas the flatbreads now, we roll everything up, don't we? Tortillas or whatever. We roll everything up. These they used to dry like old boot leather, and it lasts for months. And then they used to serve it up with stew, dip it in beer, dripping. Whoa, those old days, eh? Well, if you like what we're doing, don't forget to share with your friends. Tell them a little bit of history. The original flatbread. If you like what we're doing, big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell. Catch you in the next video. Oh. Delicious.